Hello, everyone, and welcome to Love and Lust. It is your girl, Anna Lefebvre. We are back, and Happy New Year. We did take a 2-week break, but we are back to recording and producing shows and delivering them every Tuesday. And remember, if you love Love and Lust and want to support it, we do have a merch store, and also you can leave a monetary donation. We are now active on Hip Hop Streets, YouTube, Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and a couple other platforms. And hopefully soon we'll be coming towards Apple, but we shall see. Now to the episode. So if you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. I'm using it right now. You know what? Let me explain. It's free. There's a creation tool that allows you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so you can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast, no minimum listeners, and it's everything you need to make a podcast in just one place. So, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Love and Lust. Welcome to Love and Lust. I am your host, Anna Lefebvre. Love and Lust is a podcast about sex and relationships. Viewing discretion and listening discretion is definitely advised. So today we have a special show. It is going to be extremely different because for the first time, I'm not providing any video. So you have to catch it on the podcast version only. And my guest that I have on today, her name is Rhonda. And Rhonda, go ahead and plug yourself, tell everyone your social media, where they can find you, and let's introduce you.
All right, well, my name is Rhonda. I also go by Only One Rhonda, and that's pretty much my name on social media. Everything except for Snapchat. On Snapchat, it's Only One Rhonda and the number 1. So, okay. Yeah.
And I will have the links below. I am super excited for this show, and I know I say this a lot, but I've been really wanting to do this. I've been planning and getting ready for this. Rhonda has a OnlyFans account, and I'm just so excited to finally interview someone that has it. You are a beautiful person. You're a beautiful soul. I love your IG. You have a website too, or no?
Yeah, onlyonerhonda.com.
Okay, so you have the Snapchat, Instagram, your website,
YouTube.
YouTube. Okay, everything. I'll have to check out the YouTube, but I'll make sure I have all the links below for everyone. So, first off, how long have you had an OnlyFans account for?
May of 2018.
Oh.
So that's when I joined, yeah.
So I didn't know that OnlyFans was around for that long.
Yeah, I think they started in like 2015, I think. It just wasn't a big thing yet, you know? So
what made it a big thing this year?
You know what? I think the pandemic first, and then also like just, I don't know, there's so many girls getting on now, and it's becoming kind of normalized. That's what I want.
Yeah, because the first time I actually heard about it was this year. I didn't hear about it prior. And I've only seen one OnlyFans account. It was actually like a marketing seminar kind of thing. They had that on, and I saw that. And of course, I've seen stuff on Twitter and everything like that. But what made you start your OnlyFans account a couple years ago?
I got overwhelmed. Like I was selling content off of OnlyFans, and I was kind of doing it through messages on like Snapchat or Twitter, stuff like that. And it was just becoming too much. As my audience continued to grow, I was like, I maintain this anymore. I was sleeping like 4 hours a night and still going to school, still going to work. And I was just like, I need something automated. So that's why I switched over to OnlyFans, because it was just like, I can't do this by myself anymore.
So you can monetize it. Like, why would you give out content for free when you can monetize it and make something off of it?
It was already monetized, you know, because I was just selling through messages with the videos and pictures. But having that process there where they can just go ahead and buy it through a message or see them on the wall with their subscription, that helped a lot.
And then OnlyFans kind of already puts it on a different platform for you. So
so it's so many people there. So it makes it better.
What makes your content, because you told me you had 2 accounts, what makes your content more unique than another person's? What is your, like, the premise of yours?
For me, it's mostly a boob page. So it's like stuff for the fetish community, stuff like that. And like when I actually film my content, I like to pay like special attention to lighting, I like to make the audio like very intense and stuff like that. So it's a different type of care that comes with what I do, but I know there's other people out there too that have like a lot of care with their stuff too. So
So do you do all the editing and everything yourself? The filming and editing?
Wow. The editing, the setup, the planning, all of it.
And how much content it sounds like a lot of work. It sounds like because I could tell you right now, like even this podcast, I have no life, like, you know, and you're going to, you know, school, I have business and stuff. I have no life outside of doing all of this.
It's really like an all day thing every day, especially with answering the emails and everything. Like on a general day, I could be answering as many as like 300 to 500, because I try to like actually speak back to everybody on Snapchat and OnlyFans. And on a day where like I posted something that they're really crazy about, then it's even more emails. I can't even count. I'm just like,
wow. So 300 is just like, to me, I'm like nodding my head because I feel like that's like a regular number, but that also makes you special because you're actually giving everyone more of a hands-on experience versus just treating them as a number. So that's something that makes you stand out. What is your advice for just like someone like me? So last year, I went through a whole divorce and everything. And of course, you know, fresh out. So I'm like looking at my Instagram, I'm like, you know, looking at it and I'm thinking, and it's just so boring because it was like, I was in a very controlling relationship. So I really wasn't on Instagram. So my Instagram was like super boring. And I was like, let me spice up my life. Let me, you know, so I started, you know, posting ass shots and all this other stuff, but I always had a theme and a reason to do it. And I think people are now realizing the reason why I've done that, because I have taken control of my sexuality, because I realized that people are going to sexualize me anyhow. So why don't I make money off of it? Why don't I sexualize myself first?
Right.
So because I'm hands-on too, since you answer so many like messages, what is your advice to females and like people like myself, not even just females, people that deal with social media, to stay positive? So I can see that you're a very positive person. I can see your energy. You know, it's very light. What is your advice? Because I know there's some people on there talking crazy.
Oh gosh. First off, like have a good support system. Like people around you that you can actually talk to, because like people do come to you with like different energies, and not everybody is good. Like some people will literally give you a headache, and it's like if you have somebody you can kind of like vent to, it takes a bit of the pressure off. And then also kind of like remembering that nobody's opinion of you really matters except for your own, you know? And sometimes we get so caught up in what other people think, and it gets in your head, and it's like you have to remember to just space yourself apart from all that and just do you, because people are going to have something to say regardless.
Yeah.
So
it doesn't matter what you're doing. You could be a librarian and they're going to say something about you being you know, a librarian. Like they don't like the way you're putting that book on the shelf. Like, you know, like they're going to say, people always have something to say. And it's honestly, I have learned it's a reflection of them, and the things that they point out is usually an insecurity within them. And that's why they're pointing it out. It's like when you buy a car, let's say you buy a Dodge Charger, a red one. All of a sudden now you're seeing all these Dodge red Chargers, you know, And that's the same thing. So it's really not even about you. It's about them and their insecurities, and they're trying to project it.
I agree with that.
I have always been a very odd female, extremely odd. And I remember when I was younger, I wanted to be a model. Now, I'm not going to name names. I won't do that. Will not do that. I always want to be a model, so I followed my favorite model, whatever, and she ended up having her own talk show. So, you know, if you you guys can add up the math if you want to, but I'm not going to add it up for you. I am not the calculator, okay? So, so she would have, and I was probably like 10, 11, 12, and she would have women on her show just basically to bring them on, I felt like, and to talk down to them to make herself feel better. And it was always about, she would have maybe like females that were, you know, sex workers or things along, or no, strippers. She had a lot of strippers on her show. Yeah. And it was like, basically she talked to them and said that they were being stupid for doing this. And you can go work at a McDonald's basically and make the same amount of money because that's what her mother did. And I was so offended and upset, even at the early age of 10, 11, and 12, for you to take a woman on your show, because she's probably paying them a couple hundred, she probably flew them out, you know, to be on the show. But the thing, what really stuck with me was that she was selling the story that women are vulnerable, that we don't know what we're doing, right? So I've always had an issue with that, because if you start thinking and saying that women are vulnerable, that leads to everything else in our life, and all of a sudden we're in victim mode. We're in the mode where we're like crunched down in society versus sitting and standing with our heads held high. Right, if proudly. You want to, yeah, proudly. So whatever you do is what you want to do, as long as you're not morally incorrupt. Morally corrupt. You know what I'm saying. Right. You know, that's your choice. And whatever you want to do is beautiful. I had a friend tell me this morning, he was like, oh, women send me nudes all the time. And because someone sent him a nude or like in a video or whatever, I'm like, they just send that to you? Like, they just send that? You can be making money off that, girl. What the hell are you doing? Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Like, that's what you do? And I was like, is it Snapchat? He was like, no, it's my phone. I'm like, the fuck? What is wrong with you? But that's what you want to do. That's what you want to do. I mean, but it's like, how dare you? Don't you ever pass judgment on somebody else. Don't ever, especially around me, because I have a huge problem, and I'm here trying to kill that whole entire narrative of the woman being vulnerable, like we don't know what decisions that we're making.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with that.
Yeah, we make money off our ass and titties all the time, but we just don't say that. But once you start saying that, that's when people have a problem. I don't see the problem. I don't see it. If you're looking at it and you know, okay, but besides that, my little rant. My little rant. Let me go back. So what are like the basic, like maybe like give me 5 basic rules of OnlyFans?
Oh gosh. All right. So I don't know if I have 5. So for our payout, that goes on like a 7-day rolling period. We have to actually wait like 8 days for the money to like leave from the pending section to actually being money we can withdraw. And then after that, it takes probably like 1 to 3 days to go into our accounts. And then what else? What other rules are there? They actually have rules against stuff like ping or what they called. I guess like some people request things pertaining to like poop. I'm not into that. Not knocking anybody's fetish, but I'm just saying like there's different things you can do and you can't do on the platform. It would be nice if they had a rule about like including things in your bio, like what is your page about? What do you actually offer? Because a lot of people kind of like false advertise or mislead people, and that can be like a major headache. And then also too, they have another rule where like if you are a customer and you want a refund, they basically will block your account. They'll give you the refund, but then you're like banned from OnlyFans completely. So like, I don't know if they're flagging the IP or if they're like just flagging bank information, but yeah.
Yeah. And the only reason why I was laughing and giggling about the poop thing was because of the whole story with the celebrity that, you know, came out this summer. And I'm like wondering in my head, did they do it before or did they do it after? And then I'm wondering if the numbers went up for that kind of fetish. Because like your fetish is what your fetish. I watch weird shit. I know. I watch weird shit. So who am I to judge?
Funny. Like, I definitely laugh at like some of the requests, but I mean, at the same time, it's like, okay, you do you.
That's what you like. That's what you like. And, you know, like I said, if it's not morally corrupt, that's what you like. It's because I like weird. I can tell you I like weird shit, and is, you know. So I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and be a hypocrite. That's not what I'm gonna do.
Exactly.
So, did any of the rules change after the whole incident with that celebrity that made like $2 million in a day? And I think what I heard, the big gist of it was that she was pre-selling it. She was advertising it. So it looked like she was going to be nude, but then all of a sudden she wasn't nude. So now a whole bunch of people complained about it. So did the rules change vastly because of her?
So for that scenario, I heard for a few people it changed in like different areas. I heard South America, they had a change. They went from a 7-day rolling period for their pay to a 30-day rolling period, which means they can, you know, cash out after their money has been sitting there for 30 days. And that sucks because who can live like that?
Yeah.
And like, as for me though, nothing changed for mine. So I don't know if it hit, you know, my area, but I don't think it did.
What about the,
probably just.
What about the tipping? The tipping change?
I don't know about the tipping. I heard that decreased too. But for me, like I said, I don't have any changes on my side, but I did see multiple girls online complaining and saying that, you know, there was issues with how much people can tip. Instead of being able to tip, you know, $200 or so, it was like now, I think $100. And it's like, why does everybody have to go through this because of one person? But at the same time, like, I get it. That whole scenario cost the company like a lot of money because they have to pay out so much back, and then there's fees with that, and so it was a mess.
Yeah, I didn't really appreciate that whole thing because for me, there's people out here, this is how they live and this is how they're surviving. You have a celebrity who doesn't, I mean, honestly, I don't know, obviously, I'm just put that out there, but in my head, she doesn't need to do this, and she went and did this, and I just thought that wasn't right. I did not appreciate that at all. But I'm happy that nothing affected you though. That's great.
Yeah, and then the other thing about it too is like it's already kind of difficult for some guys to subscribe to OnlyFans because they're already so like, you know, iffy about it. And for her to go and do that and literally take $200 from each person for that video, it kind of just, it adds to the sour taste in their mouth that they already have about OnlyFans. And then they're more skeptical about, you know, going to different pages. And you have numerous people who are like, I'm not joining OnlyFans again. And it's like, wow, okay. Yeah. We're not all like that. Like, some of us actually deliver what we said we deliver.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I get asked for like if I have an account a lot, like on a daily basis. I think pretty much people probably stop because I said I don't have one. The reason why I don't have one is because I do have a marketing company. So if anything happened with that, and honestly, at the end of the day, I don't think the two should affect each other. But at the end of the day, in our society, yes, it does. And I got bills to pay. Right. So, and I live in Los Angeles. It's very expensive. So I have to be working. So, and then another thing about me, a lot of people I don't know if they realize, but I'm really very freaking goofy. I am not sexy. So whatever you see and you think that's just whatever, it's like, maybe it's the Hennessy speaking or something like that.
That would add to them loving you even more though. Like the goofiness and everything.
And I probably, I've sent probably 2 people in my whole entire life nudes. And one, that's because we were like really into something. And then the other one is on Snapchat, so I don't even know if that really counts. So I'm just like the biggest like goofball. I will take a picture and I'm like, ugh, no. And then one of the last times I took a nude, like every time I take it, something always happens. Like I almost fell off the bed. Like the most random shit happens. Like I almost got caught. I almost fell off the bed. I almost like how am I grown and getting caught?
Stuff would be, you know, the thing that people like. It would be this whole
maybe one day
personality.
Maybe one day. I don't know. I'm just way too goofy for stuff like that. And then I'll like even the guys I'll be dating, like, go send me something. I'm just like, no. Fuck out of here.
Not there.
Unless you see it in person.
Right.
But that's something, you know, because I've dealt a lot with my sexuality and not being confident, not being comfortable in my own skin. So that's something that I have to, you know, work on. Yeah. So what has, within these last couple of years of you having OnlyFans account, what has changed in your life?
Well, I would say I definitely got a bit more comfortable with talking to like so many different people. Like I'm pretty like quiet and just laid back in person. Yeah. Like one of those people who's like, when I first meet people, I just kind of like observe, and then I kind of decide like, okay, I want to be a part of this conversation.
I'm the same way. What's your sign?
Aries.
Okay, I see it. Yeah. I see it for sure.
So yeah, I definitely feel like just a bit more comfortable, not so closed off. And then also, of course, like financially, that's been a boost because there's so many fans. And then also, I also felt more, or at times feel more comfortable talking about like sexual topics. So,
because it's so, you know, taboo.
Yeah,
it's so taboo. So even at this, in 2020, it's still taboo. Like it's just.
And it's crazy because it's everywhere. It's like in magazines, it's on TV, it's in the songs and everything. Yeah. But then when you get to certain topics like OnlyFans or, you know, just talking about it in general, people are like, "Oh, that's inappropriate." I'm like, "What?"
Yeah. Or I'll never pay for porn. I don't have to pay for porn. I don't. I'm like, you know what?
Porn is free.
Yeah, shut the hell up. Just, you know, nobody cares about what you're doing. Honestly, nobody gives a fuck. Let's just shut the fuck up. Let people live. Like, stop. Right. How many subs do you have? If you don't mind me asking.
3.5K.
Oh, that's a good amount. That's. And how often do you put out content? I don't know if I asked you this already.
3 to 4 times a week.
3 to 4. Yeah. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's
some girls post daily, and some girls post less than that, of course. But yeah, it's been pretty cool. It's a workable frequency for me.
Okay, nice. Well, that's I didn't know anything about like I was saying OnlyFans prior, so I was really wanting to ask you about that. Now, here's the thing that really I feel like is awesome. You're married.
Yeah.
So has having an OnlyFans account affected your marriage, like in a good way or a bad way?
No, it hasn't affected it in a bad way at all. Honestly, I don't feel like it's changed anything because we were already so comfortable with the idea. Like a long time ago, he had actually saw a model online and she was like doing camming. And he was like, look at this, like she's doing something. I'm sorry, he was saying that you can do this actually, you know, like, oh, you have nice boobs, your boobs are similar to hers, like this would be cool for you. And I was kind of just like, no, I can't do that. And over time I decided to go ahead and kind of go for it, not camming, but just creating content.
Yeah.
And so it was already something he was comfortable with, and being that our relationship was already strong.
That's awesome.
You know, it wasn't.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Do you have any like marriage or relationship advice for anybody, especially going through 2020 and everything like that? Like what would be your 2 top advice?
Yeah, I would say number 1, be with somebody who is really in support of what you're doing and like will really understand, because having like a shit ton of people kind of throwing themselves at you, that's not easy always for somebody else to deal with, you know?
Yeah.
So and then also just be sure like that's what you want to do and kind of bring into your relationship, because like I said, it can be stressful. You know, having somebody who's like always having to cater to so many people.
Yeah. No, it really is, because I imagine if, with my following, and you have way more, I'm always on my phone. I'm always like this. So someone has to get comfortable with the fact that I'm listening to you, but I'm still on the phone. I'm still working, and I'm working, all the time. So that's really important, just that understanding. And then, if they're understanding, you have a freaking cameraman or someone who can no, don't do that one. That one.
Right.
That is awesome.
My pictures.
And then you have another account too. So that you say you just started. And what is the premise? What is the motif of that account?
So that account is basically the same as my subscription account. However, everything is behind a paywall over there unless I'm giving away like a tease.
Okay.
So it's just a way for people to still buy my content and support without having a subscription.
Awesome. That's
so yeah. It's I'm trying to think of some new ideas to make that page a bit more unique, but I'm not quite there yet. Yeah. But I want to probably just incorporate more tease content, more lingerie stuff, and just get that going. Because right now I feel like it's kind of just, it's so-so. It's not, like competing with the other page. Yeah.
What would you, if you had to restart your OnlyFans all over, what would you do differently?
Let me see. If I could restart it over, I think when I first started, I was kind of listening to other people about what my prices should be for my pay-per-view content. And I was sending them far too often. And that happened for the first 2 to 3 weeks. And then after that, I kind of realized wait, okay, you should be focused more on keeping the subscriptions versus trying to just constantly sell pay-per-view content. So if I could go back, I would have never did that whole thing of pricing pay-per-view content pretty high within that first 3 weeks. I would have just calmed all that down, filled the page up with more content, and just been more focused on getting subscribers.
Awesome. And then what is your advice for anybody that wants to start one, being male or female?
All right, so I actually have a YouTube video on youtube.com/onlyonerhonda, and I explain all the different tips that I would give people who want to start OnlyFans.
Okay, I'm going to have that link below for everyone as well.
And I would say the top tip for me, or that I think is the top tip, is number one, be sure with that, because it's something that you can't take back. Everything you put on the internet, it basically lives forever. And if you have a certain job you need to maintain, or a certain relationship, you don't want to do something that's going to jeopardize it. So just make sure it's actually what you want to do. And also that you're not doing it for, just money. Even though there's a big bag in this, or can be a big bag, depending on, your content and your following and stuff like that. It's, I feel like if you do it just for money, you're going to miss having passion. I said passion.
Yeah.
Passion in your content.
Yeah. And people can see that, because when I lose passion in doing my stuff, I feel like people can see that,
Yeah. And then you're more consistent when you're passionate.
Yeah.
You're not just, I'll get to it. And then it's 3 weeks later and your fans are like, all right, where the fuck are you? So it's
that consistency too. That consistency is important. And there's always I feel like I'm so sorry, go ahead.
I was saying also use your bio. Don't make people have to guess what's on your page. Let them know if you only do tease content, say that. If you do nude content, say that, so they have an idea of what they're getting. Because it can just be so bad when you have to look at your income sheet and you see so many chargebacks and you're like, why is this happening? Well, you kind of bought it, so
yeah, those are some really good tips. And just make sure it's something that you want to do, because it's not you can take it back at all.
I also want to say too, invest. This is not a forever thing, 9 times out of 10. So invest your money. Figure out what you want to do with it and how you want to make this grow and actually be beneficial beyond, this moment right now.
Yeah.
That's really, really, really good, good advice. Definitely good advice. I will definitely have all those links below. But I just want to thank you for coming on. I have so much more to talk about, but you know, time flies. But thank you for coming on. I'm so glad I actually had to speak my piece about everything and, you know, tell everyone where I'm coming from, because I'm just, you know, positive vibes over here, and I'm, you know, I'm spreading female positivity because, you know,
yeah,
it needs to be.
We
spread.
need that.
We need it. We need it so much.
Right.
I might ask you to be on a future show. We'll see. But everyone, thank you so much for listening to this special, very special edition of Love and Lust. My name is Anna Lefebvre. You can catch me at It's Anna Lefebvre on Instagram, and I'll have my links below, but you know what it is. It's Love and Lust. I will see you next Tuesday.